Nothing.
Everybody doing? We're good, I hope. Can you hear me okay? Thumbs up if you do. Awesome. Might give it a few minutes. Morning, you. I'm fired up. Might want to get the Kleenex. This might be hard for some of you guys. I'm just warning you now. I've been writing all day. When I write, things happen. So I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. I just hope it blesses one of you today. I pray about this every time I get on. I pray for days before I do this. And I decided to open it up live to everyone since I have plenty of spots. And we went a little early today. So, oh my goodness, you all look so beautiful. Oh, I see some fun faces I haven't seen on my Zooms in a while. How fun. All right, we'll give it one more minute. Hope you have a notebook. I'm fired up. Feeling it. Maybe it's because the Cubs are playing. I don't know. Maybe it's the baseball gods talking to me. I don't know. All I know is it's going to be really, really good. And if you are prepared to step into who you say you want to be, then this will be a really good call for you. And if you're not, you probably won't like me very much when it's over. And I'm getting kind of used to that. So I'm all right with that. So yeah, I'm going to shake this out. Take a big old sip. We will be done exactly by 5:30 because the Cubs play tonight and I am not missing it. So want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. Yes, we are recording this also. And for those of you that are part of our team, you know that we have it for 48 hours only. And the rest of Isogenics also only has it for 48 hours. So for those of you that aren't financially linked to us or me, know that the rules are exactly the same for my team as it is for all of you guys. So I don't make any exceptions. I think it's really, really important that we keep commitments to ourselves. I think your word is gold. And honestly, you could have all these other different things fall apart, but if your word isn't gold, then you may want to just start there. That is one thing, and I'm just going to be really transparent. Before, my word wasn't always gold. I would change my mind. I would make excuses. I would lie. I would bullshit. I really would. My word wasn't always gold, and it wasn't until about 4 years ago when I completely knew that I had to change lots of my characteristics and my behaviors and my habits and patterns if I wanted something different in my life, and that was number one. Number one is your word has to be gold. So if you are committing to this 90-day game plan, if you have committed, we are in week 8. And so many of you have been here week after week after week from places that, you know, in cars, on, you know, wherever you have shown up, you've shown up because you made the commitment to yourself. And that to me speaks more volumes than any rank advancement, any star, any circle, anything. You know, your word is number one, has to be gold. And, you know, you have to stay committed long after the feeling wears off. My feeling for doing this wore off about 4 weeks ago. I really did not want to show up every Monday. I got better things in my mind that I could be doing, you know, because I had the stinking thinking creep in too. But my word is gold. And the key to growth in any arena, whether it's your business, your relationships, your person, you know, your personality, is to stay committed long after the feeling wears off and the excitement wears off. And I know so many of you came back from celebration fired up. And then here we are in October. For those of us that live here in Arizona, the weather is sort of cracking. And we want to be outside. We want to be doing other things. The kids' stuff all of a sudden is more important than what we promised to ourselves and to our teams. And that's usually where you'll say, this network marketing thing doesn't work, or maybe it's not for me, or even worse, my team's not doing anything. And I guarantee if you ever say that, I encourage you to take a strong, hard look in the mirror, because that's usually where it's coming from. So we're going to start with that. So if that is already too heavy for you, you just may want to get off this right now. just letting you know now because it's going to get deeper. I've been doing a lot of soul searching and evaluating where I'm at, not just in my business, but my life, my personal growth. And the good thing about me is what you see is what you get. And so that is a good thing. It isn't always well received, and I'm totally okay with that. Because I know that I was put here for a much greater purpose than myself, and it was to serve you guys, you know, whether it's within Isogenics or just in your life and how you deal with people, whatever. So again, if this is already uncomfortable, just hop on off. You can say I suck. It's totally okay. I appreciate that. I know that by no means am I an expert in anything. Nothing. I am an expert in nothing, but I have been through the gamut of things. I do have a lot of wisdom in life, mainly because of my mistakes. So, you know, that's where all your learning comes from, is in your mistakes. And so many of you are trying to hide your mistakes. And if I could share with you one thing that I have done is I have openly shared almost all of my mistakes to the world. And you know what? It helps me grow huge. It helps me not repeat them, and it helps a lot of you guys too. So again, if this is too much, hop off. If not, let's roll. Okay. So those of you that were at Celebration, the leadership meeting, saw Eric Worre. And I told you that he talked about the 10 habits of strong leaders, successful leaders, and we've already gone through 7 of them. And this one was the one that kind of stirred a little something in me, and I didn't like it at first because it just rubbed me the wrong way, or I didn't understand it until he explained it. And once he explained it, I was like, oh, hell yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. And that characteristic and habit is promotion. And to me, my immediate, and maybe this did this for you, for me, I immediately thought, oh, ego. Sorry, the landscapers, you hear the dogs freaking out. Great. Come here. Hey. We'll see how this goes. Anyway, come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. You want to say hi? You want to say hi to everybody? Okay, he wants to say hi. All right. He's over it. Landscapers. Anyway, when I heard promotion, I immediately thought ego. It's like, okay, do we really want to talk? Oh, hi. Hammond Tree kids. Hi. He said, hi, Tegan. Hi, guys. Hi, boys. So anyway, you go lay down. Promotion. What I thought of immediately was ego, and it isn't that. You know, a lot of times we see on Facebook some half-truths that people are saying about the lifestyle that they're living or the income that they're making, and hey, my office is by the pool every day, but really, could they really support a family on that? No. What promotion to me meant is this, and like I said, I am no expert. This is just my interpretation of it. Take it or leave it. My interpretation of promotion is that, listen, this is my goal. This is my intention. My heart is in this, and I am in it for the long haul. And it's basically, to me, tied with consistency, but you have to be actively putting yourself out there, A, to stay accountable, B, so people really know that this isn't just a thing that you're doing, or you're trying to get them, or whatever else. Maybe you just want your ego stroked. That's totally a possibility. That is a natural kind of human behavior that I always have to keep in check all the time. I mean, ego is a human behavior. It doesn't serve you. To me, it means edging God out. And I know if I stay stuck in my ego, or if I let my head get inflated over silly things or things people say to me, very quickly does my quality of life decline, because I'm edging the one person, the one thing that is a constant in my life no matter what. So promotion doesn't have to mean bragging. Promotion doesn't have to be, hey, look at me. You know, it's okay to celebrate. It is totally okay to celebrate and be proud of yourself. But as long as you are helping the next person behind you and reaching back and helping people, and you're telling the truth, you have to be telling the truth and being consistent. That to me is what promotion meant. Consistency is the number one thing in this game, other than your word, doing what you say you're going to do. I know, how many of you have been in Isogenics now more than 6 months? I'm just going to look real quick at all the hands. So keep your hands up. Okay, many of you. And I'm sure if I had to take a poll, how many of you have gone dark or fallen off the grid for a period of time because maybe you cheated one too many times and ate too many pieces of pizza and you feel like I'm not walking the walk, so I don't want to be in this public spotlight. Maybe that's it. Maybe 2, you didn't get the response you wanted, so you're having a little pity party for yourself and you're thinking, oh, this doesn't work. Or maybe you made this maybe you made this totally about you and not about serving people. And I'm here to tell you this, that, you know, when you are going through stuff, when you're going through your hardest times, and believe it or not, some of my hardest times have fallen in some of publicly the most glorifying things, you know, at least exteriorly and on paper, life is great. But during those times, it has been some of my hardest times. And the reason that there is always this push and this incline when I'm going through something hard is because when I'm going through that, I throw myself even more into serving people. It doesn't mean isolating or avoiding the real issues. I'm dealing with all my issues, trust me, because the old me would have, you know, been a workaholic, so I would avoid my feelings. There's a difference between serving people and avoiding your feelings. And I want you to know that if you're having a hard time, or maybe your health journey doesn't look how it did when it started, mine certainly has had its ups and downs through no, you know, fault of my own and through some fault of my own. Let's be real. I'm still a food addict. But I always stay in the game, no matter what. And especially when shit is hitting the fan. That is when you need to stay in the game the most. That is when people need you the most. That is when you're going to be the most relatable. That is when people will trust you most. Because you are an open book. You are vulnerable with your mistakes. You're vulnerable with every part of who you are. And that is the defining difference between you and somebody else. Because let's be real, Isagenix is about a year away from being a household name. It is. And on every corner, on every street, there's going to be somebody that has been blessed by Isagenix. I believe that with all I am. What is the difference in you versus the guy down the street that is going to make somebody say, I want to do this with you. I am all in with you. And it is staying in the game and consistent, being real, authentic, the real deal. I promise you this, and it's scary. Many of you are like, holy crap, that sounds scary. And you know what? It sure is. It sure is. I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth today because I'm going through something and I don't even know what's going to happen. So this is really scary for me to be live, recorded, and to be doing this. This is a time where I used to just like lock the door, shut the blinds, stay off Facebook forever and hide out because Lord knows I was like a loose cannon. I still am, but I'm okay and I'm willing to put myself out there. And if I mess up this call, I will admit it. If I say the wrong thing that isn't my heart, I will admit that. But that's the difference. That's the difference. Be willing to put yourself out there. That is promotion. And when people don't like what you're doing, it's okay. It's okay. If you in your heart of hearts, if you in your soul believe you are meant to do this because you want to serve people, then there should be absolutely nothing that should stand in your way. Nothing. No words, nothing. Nothing. Okay, we good? All right, I need to take another breath. So I've been following along the Isagenix 90-day game plan, and it's awesome. How many of you guys are still in the game? Keep your hands up. I want to look. All right, all of you got your hands up. Yeah, and I see some cringing like, oh, please don't call on me, Tracy. Please don't call on me. And don't you worry, I will be. But we'll get there. And how many of you have stayed in the game and whatever goal you put on here hasn't happened or you're not even close? Keep your hands up. Yeah, mine's not either. And it's okay. And you know what's awesome is you're all still in the freaking game. So bravo. However, Just because you're jumping on a Zoom call every week and showing up doesn't mean you're putting in the freaking work. Let's be real. I've talked to a few of you, and you want me to fire you up, and you want me to say the magic words. And quite honestly, it's just you're not doing the work. You might be on Facebook, you might be posting, you might be doing this and that, and that's totally okay. That's important. However, what does your follow-up look like? That is usually where people are dropping the ball. Or you did a post, you got some activity, you added some people to our Facebook group or your Facebook groups or whatever, and then maybe you didn't write it down, or maybe you just, things got in the way, or you were afraid they were going to ask you a question you didn't know the answer to, or maybe you were afraid of actually being good at this. And so you haven't reached back out, or you haven't followed up, or maybe you don't want to feel like you're bothering them. Are you kidding me? Can any of you imagine where your life would be if the person that shared this with you, A, didn't follow up or even share it with you? Can you even imagine where your life would be? I don't even want to go there where my life would be. I don't. And so I'm grateful for it every day. And that is the number one thing when I want to kind of get in my head, because I do. I'm still crazy. Trust me, I'm still freaking crazy. And there are times that I'll be like, who really would want to hear from me? Believe it or not, I still tell myself that stupid, wrong, untruthful story from time to time. And you know what I do? I look myself in the mirror and like, you're a freaking liar. Get on the phone. Go bless somebody today. This isn't about you. Shut up. Okay. Get over yourself. And then you move forward and you follow up. And I would guarantee probably most of you aren't where you're at because one of two things haven't happened. You haven't shared the story enough, whether it's your story, somebody else's story, the isogenic story, whatever. And two, you're not following up with those you have. And honestly, that is your number one income producing activity. And I know for a fact, my goal hasn't been hit because I have not done that as consistently as I intended to in the beginning. I'm being completely honest. And to be even more honest, I'm kind of comfortable. I don't have that gift of desperation that I had so horribly in the beginning. However, I know that I'm being a jackass if I don't, because there are many people that are in a situation far worse than what I started in that really, really freaking need me right now. And so who the heck am I to be comfortable and be an asshole? Seriously. If there's kids, I'm sorry. That'll be the only cuss word I say. But it's true. It's true. Sorry, my landscapers are blowing. Hopefully you can hear me. But it's true. And I know that, it's not that I've run out of talking to people. I have plenty of people to talk to. There's a bazillion people out on the streets every day. You can talk to any of them. So if you're sitting there saying, I don't know who to talk to. Well, okay, if you're an introvert like me, make more Facebook friends. Go ahead, do that. But don't rely on that, because if you can't talk to people, which I had to learn how to do, because I don't like to, believe it or not. Are you laughing at me? All right. Fired up. At the blower. You got to talk to people. And the only difference between me and any of you is I've talked a lot more than you have. And I've taken a lot more no's than you have. And I've been exposed a lot more than you have. That's really the only difference. And you know what? When push came to shove, I had my vision. I knew I wanted to serve people. And you know what? If people wanted to talk crap about me, go ahead. That's the story about themselves, not about me. Okay? So, I could harp on how to share the isogenic story. I mean, come on, we're human beings. Most of us are over 20 years old, and we know how to have a conversation. Like, I'm so tired about teaching people how to connect. We're human freaking beings. Say hello. Care about somebody. Get over yourself. You have a beautiful gift and value, not with just isogenics, but with whoever you are. Every single one of you have a beautiful gift in that heart of yours. Stop acting like you don't. Stop making this weird. Go say hello to people. I smiled at this lady. I was getting my nails done today, which was long overdue. And I don't know about you, but I have a hard time with change, and I keep picking the same awesome color. They keep trying to talk me into changing, and I just don't do it. And I know I need to, but whatever. But anyway, I was in the nail salon, and I know sometimes we get wrapped up in our phones or books or, little smut magazines or whatever they are, and, find out about Brad and Angelina or whatever it is you do at the nail salon. And how many times have people walked by you or in and out or sit down next to you and you never say a word? I'm an introvert. I'm being really honest. There are times I bury my head, put the baseball hat, and never make eye contact. And you know what? When I do that, I feel a void missing in my life. We are meant to connect humanly, not just to bless them with isogenics, even though that's really awesome. But if you can't even have a conversation with the lady or man even sitting next to you in a pedicure chair, how do you ever believe that you're going to share the isogenic story in the most authentic, heartwarming way if you can't even say hello to a stranger? I know that's harsh, but it's true. And I'm an introvert, so I get that. I get it's awkward. I get it's painful for some of you. For some of you, this is really easy, and God bless you. That is not me. I have to work at this every single day. And, I have to intentionally leave my door, leave my house, because it's very easy to hide behind Facebook and Zooms. And, for all you know, I could not be wearing pants right now and you wouldn't even know. Like, how cool is that? We can kind of sort of connect. But for somebody like me, and I'm sure I'm speaking to many of you, I have built walls for 40 freaking years. 40 years. And social media is great. However, for somebody that is a wall builder that keeps people at arm's length, that doesn't let very many people too close, it is a recipe for disaster for the soul. I'm just being really honest. So if that is talking to you, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not alone, but it is not okay. And so for somebody like me that initially built their business on social media, I get that, but I knew I couldn't be a one-trick pony. If I really was going to feel that fulfillment in my heart, that service in my heart, and be what God created me to be. And that is a servant. That is a beautiful person of God that is out there to spread love and light, not just with a good Facebook post. Yeah, those are great. Who cares? Like, really, that's the highlight reel. The real shit stuff, sorry, I promise. The real stuff is when you go out and you look people in the eye and you say hello. And this lady walked by today at the nail salon, and she was the cutest little thing. And I could tell she was probably in her 60s, and she worked hard to leave the house looking so fine, and she owned it. And I looked at her and I gave her the biggest smile, and she was almost like shocked, like, holy crap, somebody is smiling at me. I don't even know what to do. How sad is that we live in a society where people are freaked out when you smile at them? That's the problem. It isn't happening enough. And especially with all this election stuff going on, I'm not even going to get into that. But we have the capability to make a difference in this world, regardless of that. Regardless of that. One person at a time, we can make a difference, even if it's just a smile, even if it's just a hug, even if it's just a hello. But it starts with you. And it starts with you getting over yourself. And it starts with me getting over myself. Okay? So share the story, follow up. Share the story, follow up. Rinse and repeat. Say hello to people. Get out of your house. Go out of your house messy. Stop putting the walls up, myself included, because they fly up at a moment's notice, and it scares the crap out of me. Because I know the minute a wall goes up, I'm cutting off what I was destined to do. We are here to connect and love people. Bottom line, isogenics is just a great part of that. But at the soul of who we are put on this earth to serve, to love, to care about people, and to connect. We are not meant to do this world alone. And trust me, I keep trying to. And honestly, I just get a God shot upside my head every time I try to do it, because it's my 40 years of that pattern. It doesn't just break overnight. And a lot of you see me today and think I got it all together, and I do for the most part because I work at it. Like that habit, I have to break every single day, and it's hard. I'm a one-woman kind of person, and I don't need anybody, I don't want anybody, because if I let them in, they're going to hurt me anyway, or they're going to leave. I mean, seriously, that's an issue, right? And if I stayed stuck in that every day, do you think I could have done what I did? No. Does it still creep in every day? Yes. Do I have to kick it to the curb? Absolutely. Right? Kick it to the freaking curb. Go bless somebody. And I promise you, the more people you bless with just your heart, isogenics aside, the more enriched you will feel, the more purpose you will find. You will not be looking to exterior things to validate the person that you are. I do not need any external validation. I don't. And that is because I find fulfillment. And when I feel that restless, irritable, and discontent sneak in, it's because I am not putting myself out there. Not just for isogenics. Like, if you haven't figured this out already, isogenics is really awesome, and I love it. And it is a vehicle to help you bless people. But at the core of who you are, you have to want to bless people, whether or not they ever join your team or not. And if you don't have that yet, you got some work to do on yourself, and that's totally okay. Because if isogenics had come into my life 6 months earlier than it did, this does not look like this. It only worked the way it worked when it worked is because I had put a lot of freaking work in on myself, and I continue to. And so I don't want you comparing yourself to others. I don't want you judging other people. This is your journey, only yours. We've got, 100 or so people on this, and that's awesome. And each one of you have a special, unique gift. Use it. Don't try to make it something it's not. I know many of you, and I know many of your gifts, and they're different than mine, and I love each and every one of your gifts. And the world needs your gifts. And I promise you, when you start spreading your gifts and your love and your light on into the world, naturally, things will start falling into place when it comes to your business. But you can't be waiting for that to happen in order. It can't be a contingency plan. And so many of you are, well, I'll put myself out there if I see results. It doesn't work that way. I put myself out there when nobody was around, when everybody had left, when I had $0 in my bank account, and the only people that were looking at me with love were my kids. But I did it anyway. I didn't say I was going to put myself out there, and if this happens, great. No. The love and the light and the serve and the caring has to come first. And if you do that without any expectations, without any freaking agenda, consistently every day, especially when you don't feel like it, things start to happen. But the minute you pull back, throw up a wall, it gets messy. And it's okay. Messy's okay. I still get messy. But don't beat yourself over your head. Don't beat your head with a club over and over. That does not help anybody. And if you're a perfectionist, that is the biggest form of self-abuse. And I'm a recovering perfectionist, aside from a recovering lots of things. I really am. Stop thinking you have to have this. And I'm going to end with something else, so we'll get to that. Okay, so when we get people started, this is another thing. And I talked about the 14-day talk. I can't remember what week it was. I think it was, I don't even know. I'd be lying if I said I knew. It was either 5, 6, or 7. You know, a lot of people will get somebody started in Isogenics. We work so hard to build that relationship. We work so hard to get them. And the minute they show up, where are you? And this is follow-up too. Follow-up doesn't just mean once we get them. It really, really doesn't. In fact, your follow-up is just beginning once they do enroll, because they have trusted you with their life. They have. And when we are talking about something as personal as health and wellness and weight and finances, that is about as emotional and deep for people as we can get. So when we enroll them and then bail on them because we got the PIB, because we got them in our tree, because we got their network, that is so awful. And that is where the ball is being dropped. Most of you probably enroll at a higher rate than I do. You really do. The difference between you and me, maybe, is that I really take the time with the relationships I have. Am I perfect? No. Am I still a wall putter-upper? Yep. Do I have to work on that? Yep. Do I work on it? Yep. But the real follow-up begins once they actually trust you enough to start with you. Again, Isagenix is going to be a household name here in about a year. And I've had many people inbox me saying they want to jump ship and join my team. I'm just being really honest with you, lots of people. And it makes me really, really sad. Not necessarily because somebody has shared with them and, you know, they just wanted to share. That's totally okay. But somewhere in there is an upline that is doing this as a business. There is a 2%er in that chain that should be reaching down and finding these people or providing them with an environment that they have support and love. That's just the truth. I get that 13% of the people that share Isagenix will just share it with maybe with a family member and they don't want to be a leader. And I get that. And the fact that somebody was blessed with Isagenix is great. But if everybody that is on this, all 100 and something of you that are on this right now, in the past 7 weeks have raised your hand and say, I want to be in the top 2%. I want to be in the top 2%. I want to be in the top 2%. And I'm seeing hands go up right now, and you're right. But a top 2%er reaches down no matter how many levels deep, even if they're not financially connected, and get them the resources that they need. That is follow-up. It isn't just following up till somebody joins you or even join somebody else. How many times have you talked to somebody, maybe didn't follow up, and they joined somebody else? And then you get pissy, or you're just like, well, good luck with that. See you later. Hope you get the help you need. And in your mind, and I'm just being really transparent, and maybe this is you, maybe you're hoping secretly that they fail miserably. So you can be like, I told you so, see? And the real person you should be mad at is you because you didn't follow up. Or maybe they had a connection with that person. It's totally okay. This isn't about you. But I really want you to take ownership of that the real follow-up begins once they get started. And those that are on my team know about the 14-day talk. The 14-day talk was something that I used just in general when I was talking to people because it was a template that would fit anybody starting or getting started with Isagenix. I put it on YouTube. I actually didn't even put it on YouTube. Somebody saw it and put it on YouTube, and it kind of went global. And so I'm like, well, I guess that's pretty effective. And it's just a template. It doesn't mean you send that video to people, but it is a template, and it is a rule book for not just them getting started, but also for you to keep yourself accountable and following up with them. Granted, they have to have their own skin in the game. And honestly, if people aren't ready to put their own skin in the game, I really don't want to enroll them yet. And I tell them that because I would much rather have somebody that is ready to do this. Like I said, if I had started 6 months earlier, I'm not here anymore. I'm just being really honest with you. I would have bailed because my commitment level wasn't there. And so if you have somebody whose commitment level isn't there, but you just want to enroll them anyway, that's making it about you. And so you have to really have the hard conversations with people in the beginning and kind of call them out on stuff. It doesn't mean you have to be a jerk. Tough love is the key word in that is love. Honesty is a beautiful thing. It isn't always well received. And if it is not well received, then I guarantee you they're probably not ready to really be committed. And you're going to end up knocking your head up against the wall because, 14, 21 days, they're going to go MIA, and you'll be like, and what's going to happen is you're going to think you suck at life, right? How many of you have been like, I don't know what happened to them, and all of a sudden they're gone, and I just suck at this? Have you ever done that? I have. So make sure people are 100% committed. Make sure they know you're 100% committed. With great reward comes great responsibility. And I don't take that lightly. And when somebody trusts me enough to join with me, I let them know that I take their success very, very seriously. Doesn't mean I'm going to do the work for them. Doesn't mean I can want it more for them. But I take it very, very seriously. And my commitment level is at an all-time high with them. And I want to make sure they're on the same page. I know we talk about matching energy for energy with people, but when people are getting started with Isagenix, it's a different story. That is where you have to be the energy. You have to be the joy on the bus for 14 days. If after that they want to be George, you go let them be George. And you don't have to let them on your bus anymore. But for 14 days, you owe it to every single person that you come in contact with to be joy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you get The Energy Bus by John Gordon right now. It's a great book. It's a game changer. But you owe it to them. If you want the great reward of a legacy of an empire built for generations to come, then guess what? You have a huge responsibility in these people's lives. Not just to get them started, but to let them know that through it all, through thick and thin, you're there for them. Doesn't mean you enable them. Lord knows I don't enable. And I have many people, even on this call, that are mad at me right now. And it's okay. I'm not going to hold hands. I will be your biggest supporter. And I will love you and believe in you. But I can't put that in you if you can't find it in yourself. And the good news is for all of you is I'm not going anywhere. And so when you decide to really dig deep and find that in yourself, put me on speed dial and I'm there. But I'm going to hold you to your word. So, I mean, I know that that's kind of sharing, following up, and getting people started. I know it probably isn't like the secret sauce that some of you wanted, and I don't care, because that is the secret sauce that really people need to hear. Why are we, walking on eggshells around really what is not growing your business? And is what I just said. All right, we all are human beings. We know how to talk to people. Stop making it weird. Go say hello. Go hug a stranger. You really want to freak them out? Go hug them. It's awesome. I love it. And you want to know how many people have actually crumbled into my arms when I've done it? It's shocking. The world needs more of that. Okay? All right. I need another drink. So I want to ask you one more question. On page 65, for those of you that were at Celebration, I don't know what page if you printed it out, so don't even ask. I don't even know. But it was where you made the commitment and you signed your 90-day game plan. And, one of the questions is, what are 3 obstacles that could prevent you from reaching your goal? And I encourage you all to pull out your 90-day game plan and look at those and see if they have derailed you. And see if you have allowed that to creep into the beautiful vision that you have for not just you, but your family and the families that are going to join you and your grandchildren and your grandchildren's children. And I mean, seriously, what 3 obstacles are going to prevent that? Have you let them? And if you have, at any moment, you can say, enough is a freaking enough. I'm done. Enough. And you know what? You're probably going to piss some people off, and that's okay too. Because you're changing the rules on people when you do that. It's okay. And it doesn't matter if you're married to them. I've been married before. I know what happens when we change the rules. It gets ugly. I get it. Totally get it. But we get one shot down here on earth. One. And at any moment, it could be taken. At any moment. And honestly, I had that experience happen to me, and that's what made me have a no BS, non-negotiable. I don't care if you're uncomfortable with who I am. This is me. Take me or leave me. And you know what? Most everybody in my life left. Almost everybody in my life left. I changed the rules on them. I get it. I get it. But when you want something different, sometimes we need to do something different, and sometimes we need to be surrounded by something different. So stand in your truth. You own that. Own your responsibility in these obstacles and kick them to the curb. The other thing underneath that is, what are you willing to think, believe, do, or give up to shift your mindset and make your goal a reality? I want you to just sit with that a minute. So 8 weeks ago, so what, that was 7 days ago, almost 60 days we've been doing this. And you wrote down what you were willing to do. Have you done it? Have you shifted? Have you given up some stuff? I have. You know what? And I'm getting something out of it, even though my goal and where I want to hit hasn't happened. I am growing as a human being, so that's progress. So many of you are quitting on yourself because the star or the circle hasn't changed. But you are not. It's like when we talk to people about, stay off the scale. What are your non-scale victories? Let's focus on the non-scale victories. The beauty that's happening from the inside out. I mean, we tell our people this all the time, yet when we don't get a rank advancement, we have a big old pity party, cry our Cheerios, and quit. How about those non-rank advancement victories? Like your internal growth. Like you said no to something that usually you would say yes to and resent the heck out of people for. Or how about you said, you know what, I just don't feel like doing that, maybe next time. Like for me, that's huge because I used to say yes to everything because I wanted everybody to like me. And then what would happen is I would overextend myself, overschedule myself, hate everybody, make everybody uncomfortable, and explode. I don't do that anymore. And I don't care if my star and circle hasn't gone up. That's huge. That's huge by staying in the game. So stop basing your success on a star, circle, or rank advancement. Yes, I know you want that. And yes, that is important to build a legacy, but that has to go with doing the work, you know, the sharing and the following up, sharing and following up. That's that. This work on yourself is priceless. And these are things that you will take into your life, into your families, into your parenting, into your everything. Everything you touch, this affects, or this has a direct reflection on everything. So don't take this lightly, because I've seen your faces as we've gone through the 8 weeks get sadder and sadder and sadder. And I've seen tears because people know that they haven't kept the commitment to themselves, or they know if you're really being truthful with yourself, like, yeah, I'm showing up every week, but I'm really not doing the work. It's okay. At any moment, you can switch, and do it. Beating yourself up doesn't serve anybody. All right. So how many of you want to do Isogenics as a business? Because yes, I understand we've got visions for our families, what big goals, we want to serve the world. I get that. You know, but how many of you have stayed in Isogenics because you know you can make a difference in somebody's life? I mean, I started it completely for 100% selfish reasons. 100%. Well, not completely selfish. I needed to be the best version of me for the 2 beautiful kids I have. So it wasn't completely selfish, but it was borderline 100% totally about me. And within 4 days, I knew, and I was a little frustrated with God because I did not want to do this. I prayed the snotty prayers for an answer because I didn't want to go back into the industry I had. I was unemployed at the time, and I prayed for the answer. And on day 4, when I woke up, I knew that this was the answer, even though it wasn't what I wanted. I did not want to do this. I still don't want to do this. If you can believe that, 3.5 years later, this is still not what I wanted to do. But when you are called and you are pulled, you cannot ignore it. You cannot ignore it, even though if it's uncomfortable, if it doesn't look how you pictured it in your head. The thought of me standing on a stage in front of people makes me want to vomit. Yet it keeps happening, and I'm like, what the heck? This God, really? Can't you make me just do something else? Can't I use my gift somewhere else? And he keeps smacking me upside the head and said, nope, not yet. That's coming. It's coming. Not yet, but it's coming. And so I will keep doing the work until that answer is revealed. And so, you know, how many of you still are in this game? Yes, to build your dreams, but at the core of who you are, and I want you to be really honest, and it's okay if you're not. And that's probably why maybe things aren't moving forward as fast as you want. At the core of who you are you 100% in this, all in, because you want to make a difference in the world? Be really honest, because if you're raising your hand, there should be nothing standing in your way. Nothing. Keep them up. And it's okay if you're not. It's totally okay not to judge. Keep them up. About 90% of you. How incredible is that? Now, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Because if it isn't about you, why should you be afraid of anything? Why? And you know, I don't know what your beliefs are. I know where mine is. And I know he's got it. So even things that are really scary, like my son's health, like that could be terrifying. And you know what? I have not been worried about it once, really, because I know what's supposed to happen will. And when you operate your life like that, stop saying you're stressed, you're afraid. You aren't stressed, you're afraid. And it's okay to own that fear, but then you're going to push through it anyway. Because for all of those of you that raised your hand and said, at the core of who you are, you want to make a difference in this world, then there is absolutely nothing to be afraid of. Okay? And so I'm going to give you some behaviors of people that make a difference in the world. And, you know, there's about 9 or so of them, 10 of them. I read this article today. It was absolutely fabulous. And I was really pleased that I can check off all 9 things. So that's really good. And I know that, honestly, not to brag, but I have made a difference in the world, and at some level, even if it's in my own backyard. And that's okay. Because how you do anything is how you do everything, whether it's on stage in front of 16,000 people or one-on-one in your own backyard. How you do anything is how you do everything. So the first one is dedicate your life to meaning and purpose. That was an easy one. I made that decision 4 years ago, 6 months before Isogenics came into my life. And that's why when it did 6 months later, this was an easy transition, even though it's not what I wanted. Commit yourselves to a meaning and a purpose. And for all of you that raised your hand, you have it. You have it. So why are you letting people, rain on that parade? Really? Stay committed to that. Number 2, people that make a difference in the world make a commitment to bettering themselves. And I know without a doubt, I am probably, out of anybody I've ever met, one of the most willing to grow themselves publicly than anybody I've ever met. And that's not to toot my own horn, it's just the freaking truth. It is. And I never believe that I have this. Like, I started this call saying, I am no means an expert. I know that some of you don't like the way that I talk. I know some of you think that training with me is a waste of time, and that's totally okay. I get that. I am not for everybody. I am not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm totally okay with that. But I am committed to growing, and quite honestly, the best way to grow is to make mistakes, and the best way to grow at a high rate is to do it publicly. And so I am willing to be like, you know what? Hate me. I don't care. I'm growing and I'm making mistakes right alongside you. And you know what that does is it lets people know I'm in this for the right reasons. So continue to better yourself. Continue to better yourself. That's why I've been to 8 university in actions. And if you notice, if you've been to them, I've met many of you at them. I'm not in the back sitting there like I am some special VIP trainer. I am in there doing the work alongside everybody. And the only time I leave is to run to the bathroom and run back. Because I want to grow myself. Grow myself. Yes, I could recite U plus 2, them plus 2 like the back of my hand. I could tell 800 different 30-second stories if you pushed me to. I easily could. But the skills that I need today are working with brand new people every day and helping people through their stuff. And you know what? Going to those events helps groom me every day. It's why I keep going. It's why it's my favorite event. It's why a lot of leaders don't like that event, because it's very obvious if you're not participating. At the other events, they're awesome and everything, but you can kind of sit back with your notebook or text or whatever and have your special seats and whatever. And there's a reason why a lot of leaders don't go to University in Action. I'm just putting it out there. And I know I'm going to get lots of hate over that one, and I don't care. I don't care. It's the truth. And it's why I continue to go. It's why I continue to go. It's why I continue to shine even brighter and work even harder and grab every new person that walks in the door. It's just the truth. And that's because of my willingness to better myself as a leader. I won't be in Charlotte yet. I don't know. I'm going to pray about that. If the Cubs go to the World Series, forget it. No, I'm not. Okay. Number 3, you engage with people in an open way and beneficial ways. How many of you have interacted maybe with somebody in this company that has a lot more stars and circles with you and they don't give you the time of day? And it was funny because I never forget a face. And I remember those that didn't give me the time of day. And the minute I started to show up in the ISA world, all of a sudden, guess who wanted to be my friend? Those people. And you know, one thing that I know that I show up in the world every day, and I'm asking you, if you really want to make a difference in the world, is you engage with people in beneficial ways. You have a gift and knowledge to share. And even if it's just a hug, even if it's just a hug, you are not better than anybody. We all put our pants on the same way. We all poop. So seriously, nobody is better than anybody. And we can always be learning. Again, our human nature is to be connected. So start connecting. No matter how high up you go, stay humble, stay kind. It's the best song on the planet, by the way. This was a big one, and I kind of touched on this earlier. Invest time and energy in what can be, not what is. That's a huge one. If that doesn't stab you in the heart, how many of you have like the contingency plan? Like, I'll do this if I get this. I'll post it this time if I get this. I'll do this if I'll talk to this person. I'll do this launch party. I'll do this if that. What I had on day 4 that I really didn't want to see was this big vision of what was possible. And I was afraid of success. Not because I didn't think I could do it. I knew I could do it. I knew I was going to freaking crush it. When I wrote out that check to myself, I knew I was going to crush it, and I was still afraid of it. Do you want to know why? Because I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to uphold the responsibility that comes with that. Ooh, I just said that out loud. That's really scary. It's the truth. And I still doubt myself sometimes because this is hard. I got people at me at every angle, and I feel like I'm failing people. And part of me wants to quit over that. Is that sad? But that's just reality. And no matter where you're at, that's natural. And the key is to not let that dictate our actions and our habits and our patterns, and they don't. So don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. But that's just reality. That's reality. And the thing is I was doing the work long before the stars, the circles, the people showed up. I invested in what could be, not what was right in front of me. Not what was right in front of me. Because quite honestly, what was right in front of me was a shit show. Sorry, I said it again. But it was. And if I was investing my time in what actually was, sorry, I saw the kid. If I was really investing in what was happening for me, you know where I would be? In the toilet. Because that's where my life was when I was starting this thing. But I was investing myself in what I saw way out there. It's like when you go hiking. Corey, I saw you on here before, and you know, you look up at big old Camelback Mountain and it looks freaking scary. And I'm telling you, it is. It is. But think about what that's going to be like when you get to the top. And then you know what? You put your head down and you do the work, regardless if you ever make it to the top. And you know what? Some people don't make it to the top, but they found joy in the journey anyway. Okay, so you have to invest yourself in what can be. No contingency. You can hashtag that, no contingency. All right? It's not like buying a house. Like, I'm going to buy that house if mine sells. No, you're going to do the work no matter if anybody shows up. Okay? Do the work. If nobody shows up, you keep doing the work. And ironically, when you keep doing the work, whether anybody shows up or not, people show up. Okay. I think we're on number 5. I don't know. We embrace critique. Okay. Prior to recovery, I did not take well to that. And quite honestly, if you critique me, I pretty much just shut you out of my life. Talk about walls. It's like, you know, a ninja, wall ninja. Nope, you're not going to critique me. You're not going to expose my faults. Nope, you're not going to expose all my vulnerability and insecurity. You are out of my life. That's what I used to do. And you know what? You know where that got me? Nowhere. And you know what that had me filled with? Unfulfilling relationships and abusive relationships. Quite honestly, you attract what you are. And that's kind of who I was. And so when I could really, like, And when I say accept critique, it doesn't mean you let people walk all over you and be a jerk. It does not. It means, like, I've critiqued some of you and you know it's coming out of love. You may not always like it, but usually a day, 2, a month, a year later, you're like, oh, you remember when we had that conversation and you said this? I've been thinking about it ever since. I made a few adjustments, and you know what's happened? I've had a breakthrough. Awesome. Can you imagine if you weren't open to that? Can you imagine if I wasn't open to owning my own crap? Oh my goodness, my poor children. You know, how many of you guys have kids? You know, and do as I say, not as I do. Oh my goodness, I was the queen of that. But when I could look myself in the mirror and even critique myself in a healthy way, so many of you guys are so critical of yourselves in the most god-awful ways. Please stop it. This is hard work on me too, I get that. But when you have somebody that truly, truly loves you, and you know without a doubt that their heart is 100% for you to rise up. And you don't have to have an army of them. Pick 2 people in this world. I have about 2 people in this world that I will trust critique from, like, to my core. I will take feedback, but there are 2 people I have in my life that if they're like, okay, Tracy, you need to make an adjustment here, I'm making the adjustment. Everybody else I'll take into consideration, but I'm open to it. I'm open to it. And you know what? I heard it from consultants, from associates. I've gotten critique from them, and you know what? I'm so grateful for it. At University in Action, I got some of my best critiques from people who had no idea who the heck I was. And you know what? That's awesome. How cool is that? Can you imagine if I sat there like, well, you know what? I think I make this much a month. I think I know what I'm doing. So, shut up. No. Be willing to learn and grow from other people, especially if you know their intent and heart is in the right place. Do not take advice from people who silently want you to fail, who are broke and unhappy. Those are not who you should be taking your critique from. Who you take your critique from are people that have what you want. And quite honestly, if you have what I want, I'm going to demand you do what I do. That's how recovery worked. That's how I stayed sober for 4 years. I wanted what they had, so guess what? I had to take good orderly direction, G-O-D, God, good orderly direction, and take criticism and own my stuff. So that's how you're going to make a difference in the world. Accepting it, embracing it. And you know what? When you start attracting the right people in your life, you know, the people that are secretly wanting you to fail, they leave anyway. It's awesome. It's sad and lonely still. I have many lonely nights, but you know what? The right people are in my life, and it's okay. Oh, this is a good one. And this is one this is big. They share what they know. There are not many leaders that would open up an hour and a half of their training to all of the company. And I'm not saying that to toot my horn, and not that I'm giving you anything special or secret. I mean, this isn't a secret. I mean, we share what we love. We follow up, we rinse and repeat, we share the opportunity. I mean, it's really not that hard, but really good people that want to make a difference in the world, they're an open book and they share everything that they know. And I'm willing to share everything that I know. Like I said, I am no expert. I am no genius. I just know what's worked for me and now 38,000 other people. And if you like what I do, then if you want what I have, then do what I do. And if you don't, that's totally okay too. But share. When you learn something, share. When you have a launch party, open it up to everybody. Yes, I know that can mean lots of people in your house, but so what? How much fun would that be? If you're doing a business training in your town, open it up to people that are cross-line and not financially connected to you. I did that early on. And the next thing you know, we broke a hotel. Because all these people, I was like, oh my goodness, I opened this up to everybody and they all showed up. But in the beginning, nobody showed up. But because it became known, I was sharing whatever. Like I said, I don't claim to know everything. But I opened it up. And you know what? One of my favorite all-time movies is Field of Dreams. And if you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. And you know what? Yeah. Do I train a lot of people that aren't financially linked to me at this point? Yeah. Do I have to really have healthy boundaries when it comes to that? Yeah. But you know what? Because I'm sharing abundantly everything that I know, I am abundantly blessed. Woo! Holy crap, that was good. I don't know where that was a God moment, because I don't know where that came from. Woo, that was good. So share what you know. Oh, I'm all fired up. I'm all tingly. Wow. I got goosebumps. Did anybody else have goosebumps or just me? That was pretty freaking good. No idea where that came from. Okay, number 7, uplift others as they ascend. I used to be in an industry that if somebody was rising up, that means they had to step on people in order for that to happen. Or, I mean, I've got somebody in my organization that's passed me up. And you know what? There's a lot of leaders that would be pretty freaked out by that. And you know what? I think it's so amazing. So amazing. Every single person in my organization, I hope, passes me. Like, how amazing is that? And as people are rising up, you want to cheer them on. And when it gets scary for them, because the more you rise up, the chances of you falling harder get greater. And you need to be there for them. Be there for them and rise them up. It doesn't mean you enable. It doesn't mean you drag people along. But it means you help people rise up. And you help them through. You say, take my hand. It's like whenever I've brought somebody new up a mountain, and I've been like the virginity breaker of mountain climbing for some people, and I don't know what it is. I think it's because we have really good conversations and that word is spread. I don't know. I don't even know why I connected breaking virginity and mountain climbing, but that's just kind of where I went with that. But my point to that is, you know, when people are starting out at the bottom of that mountain, it's scary. It's really scary. And, you know, by pouring love and belief into them the entire time, yes, Corey, you'll be fine. That was pouring love and belief into her when in her mind I could see the clock tick, you know, the wheels turning like, oh my goodness, I'm going to freak out here. I can't do this or whatever. But as you grab people's hands and say, I've got you, keep walking, keep doing the work, keep making those phone calls, keep putting yourself out there, keep being vulnerable. Help them rise up, uplift them. All right, number 8, this is a good one. And again, this is your contingency plan. View the journey as the goal, not the destination. Like, I know when there are bumps in my journey, I get excited about it. I really do. And for 40 years, I did everything to keep the bumps out of the road. And it was no wonder I tailspinned into a complete train wreck. View the journey as the goal, because that's where the growth happens. That is where all the beautiful stuff happens outside that comfort zone. And you know, that's when people are really watching you. They were watching me through the journey. And the ones that have been around from the beginning of my journey have watched me evolve. And they know that my biggest joys, my biggest growth happened in the pieces of the journey that not many people saw. You know, a lot of you just see the big, you know, whatever. Like, I don't even care about that stuff. I really, really don't. So much so it makes me want to quit sometimes because I can't stand that part of it. Because I'm all about the journey and helping people through the journey. Because that is the prize. If you're willing to take step after step after step on this scary journey of life and embrace every part of it, even the hard parts, that is the goal. And when you find yourself say, oh, okay, that means a breakthrough's coming. Okay, I'm going to embrace this. And unfortunately, that's when most people turn around and go the other way. They go back down the trail that they've always known that leads them to the dead end that they keep living. The real goal is to keep moving forward in the journey, even when you stumble and fall flat on your butt. Because you will. I keep doing it. And you know what? So what? They're just bruises. They're just bruises. They build character, you know? So find joy in the journey. That is the goal. There's no there. There's no there. Stop thinking that if I hit this, whatever, golden circle, platinum, millionaire, whatever, who cares? Like, if you think you're going to get there and everything's going to be great, I've got news for you. It gets harder. Different hard. I know, choose your hard. I'll choose this hard. Trust me, this hard's a lot easier than the old hard. But that's because I'm willing to do the work every day. There's no there. The journey is the goal, to keep growing. These two tie into each other. Okay? There's no there. All right, I think I'm on the last one. Use your power and influence well. And, you know, that's why I invited all of you. That's why I continued to release my stuff, even though I have opposition, and even though I get a lot of crap for it, and even though I get phone calls that are super inconvenient for me about it. Because I know that I have a large level of influence, and I'm not saying that to brag, by no means. You guys know me well enough to know that that's not the case. But when you have a gift, and each of you have a gift, you are obligated to share it, even if it ruffles a few feathers. If you are using that to serve the greater good for humanity, keep doing it, even if people tell you to stop. So I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. The problem comes is when you reach a level of success, at least on paper, because paper doesn't mean jack to me. On paper doesn't mean jack if you're a jerk. Ha! Ooh, that's a good one too. Hashtag that. Paper doesn't mean jack if you're a jerk. And it doesn't. Because if you've got lots of stars and circles by your name, but you're a total jerk, how successful are you? You may have people idolize you. And please stop doing that. Idolatry is so ugly. You know what? It is so ugly. Don't do it. It's okay to respect and be inspired and empowered by somebody, but don't put them up on this pedestal. There's only one person up on the pedestal, in my opinion. That's God, for me. So, but use that well. And when you do have success, because if you do all these things that we've talked about, you're going to have success. And again, success is not determined by the stars and circles by your name or the dollars in your bank account. It's the influence you have on humanity and people around you. And you know, there are people that have huge influence in the world and have no money in their bank account. And honestly, those are some of the most successful people in the world. But all of a sudden we get into this weird ISIS subculture, and all of a sudden, you know, we gauge people's success by the freaking stars and circles. Please stop it. There are platinum people that are jerks. Just straight up. And there are associates that are just coming into this business that are the most successful people on the planet, in my opinion. So chew on that for a while. And next time you want to put somebody up on a pedestal, think long and hard about it. You know what? We all have beautiful gifts. And if you are using those gifts for the greater good of humanity, then by all means, you are super successful. Non-rank advancement victories, right? And each day you do those things, you are becoming more and more successful. And it's just a matter of time. The sad part is many of you will quit if you don't see the stars and circles change, and you'll quit doing what's right for humanity. And that makes me crazy. And that's why I'm fired up today, because many people are stopping what they said they were going to do because they haven't gotten the results that they said they wanted. And so, well, piss off. We're not going to do it anymore. So I'm super frustrated about that. But I realize that, you know what? I'm not going to focus on the ones that don't show up. I'm going to focus on you that are. And how cool is that? You focus, what you focus on, you find. And so if I'm focusing on the ones that have bailed on their word, that have, you know, not kept the commitment, not just to themselves, but their families and their teams, that's not about me. It's about them. And, you know, if I focus on them, you know, what I'm going to keep finding is more people like that. And I don't want that. I'm going to focus on you world-changing rock stars. So focus on the ones that have shown up, not the ones who left. Okay? I've got a sore throat from talking so much. We got 20 minutes. And so it's where it's going to get really real. And you're thinking like, and this wasn't? No, it was. But this is where I'm going to have you reflect on yourself a little bit. And this is where, you know, if you've got a notebook, you're going to have to own some stuff. And like I said, 4 years ago, I completely had to own everything about who I was, the choices I had made, the habits and patterns that used to protect me as a kid. So I know many of you have old patterns and habits that, yes, they did help you as a child, but they don't serve you as an adult, beautiful leader. They don't serve you as a parent. They don't serve you as a wife or a husband. And so sometimes we have to kick those to the curb. And, something I've had to really focus on, before I used to live in the past. And I would let the past dictate. I would let the story define me. I would let the walls that I had built confine me. The past. Well, I'm not going to do this because of what's happened in my past. I'm not going to open myself up here because what if they hurt me like that person did? And I have to watch that one still really close. I've already kind of shared that with you. The big thing, and so a lot of us do that, right? And a lot of us look to the future. We've got our vision boards that are really pretty. We've got, our 90-day game plan books that are awesome. We've got, things out there that we are aiming for. And the problem happens, with myself included, I've had to work really hard on this one, is being present in the now. It's okay to have a vision. It's very, very crucial because you have to keep looking forward when you do stumble in your journey, when you do stumble in the now. But so many of us are not present with who we are today. And is the person in you present with anybody you talk to today? Whether it's your team, whether it's your children, whether it's your spouse. Like, are you 100% present in every conversation? I know I haven't been. I put the phone away now. If I'm one-on-one with somebody, I don't even touch my phone anymore unless I need to see the time. That's it. Or are you masquerading what you believe that leader, that parent, that wife should be and showing up as that when you're really not 100% engaged and present? This may be a reason why your business isn't where it's at. Your relationships in your life aren't where you would like them. Your children may be acting out. I've had all those things happen in my life, so I'm not judging. Please know I'm not judging. But it's because I've been willing to take that hard look in the mirror every day. And this being in the now, in the present, if you want people to show up in your life, don't you think it's important you are 100% showing up? I mean, it's like asking God to bless a life that you're not even really living. Like, chew on that one. Like, chew on that. Like, for so long, before recovery, I would be like praying to God, please fix this, please fix this, please fix this. And I would show up completely different in my life. Like, really, is he going to show up in my life if I'm not living this life that he's going to bless? That I say I want? No. How are you showing up every day? Present. You can't expect people to show up in your organization, in your life, if you aren't 100% engaged and present in the now. I was driving down the road today and it was freaking me out. I was like, oh God, are you trying to tell me something? Like, I had a vision that I died today. I know it's really morbid. I have these visions sometimes when I'm driving my truck by myself that, I look in my blind spot, I turn around and I flip the truck. I know that's really bizarre. Horrible thought. And it terrified me because I'm not done. I know I'm not done here. And I am 100% present every day because I know that can happen at any moment. It can. I am not done here. And I know that. But there was a long time ago, I was acting as though I was done. I was showing up done. How are you showing up every day? Are you grateful for every breath you take? Are you grateful for even when your kids are jerks? I am. I'm so grateful when they are. I really are. Because it's a great opportunity to have such a meaningful conversation and be present. Whereas before, it was an inconvenience. How are you showing up? And I want to ask you something. How different would your life be if you showed up 100% in it every day? Would you be needing these people to come into your life to validate that you are valuable if you really were showing up 100% in your life every day? I bet to say you probably wouldn't need as much of this external validation that you crave right now. And again, no judgment. That's how I operated. I'm just speaking what my truth was. And it wasn't until I made the commitment, and I'm not perfect. I fall off. And there are times I'd rather be screwing around on Facebook than having a conversation. Let's be real. There are times. But that is not what I'm here for. And I have to catch myself and be like, okay, I'm not perfect. Redirect, redirect, redirect. But I know that every day is a gift. And I am grateful for it every day. And I know that my life is very different today because I am grateful for every single part of the day. I never used to notice the birds and the trees and the flowers. I never used to appreciate traffic. Still don't. But there are times when I'm sitting in traffic that I know it's a moment for me to be with God. I really do. I really do. Or I pray, or I meditate, even kind of like, you know, for me, prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening. And, you know, I find gratitude in even that. Even when I miss a yellow light, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be late. But the thing is because I'm showing up 100% of my life, I'm not late anymore because I've planned ahead. Because I'm like, yay, I'm excited to go here. I'm doing all these things differently. And my life is different today because I'm appreciating and showing up 100%. Be 100% all in. This is all you've got. This one chance at life. We have an eternity after. The time we spend here is so little compared to what we're going to do beyond here. This is practice. And practice makes perfect. And, you know, bringing all of you doesn't mean you are 100% on your game all the time. So I'm just going to say that out loud. Bringing 100% of who you are does not necessarily mean that you are on point. 100% of me can be a vulnerable, freaking hot mess. Making mistakes left and right, accidentally hurting people's feelings that I didn't mean to, spurting off at the mouth when I don't pause. Dang it, I hate when I do that. I've gotten really good at the pause. So much power in the pause. But the key is to show up 100% messy as yourself, with your flaws, with your mistakes, with your ownership of your mistakes, with your messy hair. See, I couldn't even put my hand through it. There's so much dry shampoo in it. Messy. Show up. Show up. 100%. Because you know what you do when you do that? You give other people permission to do it. And, you know, the way the world is today, would you agree we need a lot more people that are willing to do that? To just show up 100% as who they are and not place blame and criticize and stir up other people's crap to make yourself feel better, and not stir the pots so it's deflected off you. I mean, let's be real. Show up. Show up. Show up 100% as you. And quite honestly, that's all I got today. I know there was no like nuts and bolts to this thing, but God put it on my heart that this is what needed to be said. And I almost really wanted to cancel tonight because I know this is not easy to hear. I know. And I know that it isn't easy to say because I do love a lot of you. I know many of you very personally, and you are like family to me. And it's not easy to say these things knowing it's hurting your heart because I know that you're struggling. So please know that I am saying these things to you because I do care about you. And I know the influence you have on this world, and the world needs you to show up as you are, beautifully and wonderfully made. Like seriously, please keep showing up because it was you showing up in the beginning that helped me heal. It really did. Because in the beginning, you were all I had. You one by one showing up was all I had. So thank you for showing up when you did. So keep showing up, please. And not for me. Pay that forward. I'm paying forward what you guys all did for me. That's all I'm doing. There's no secret sauce to that except paying forward, loving people, making mistakes, 100%. That's it. So I'm done. 9 minutes early. And if we could all have a moment of silence and prayer for my beloved Cubs tonight, that we end this tonight, because I don't know if my heart can take an extended game series. Let's just please pray for the Cubs and everybody's health, and even for the San Francisco Giants, because I care about them too. They're beautiful people, but we would like to win tonight. But yeah, so you guys can all be praying for me and my heart tonight as the Cubs hopefully bring it home tonight, because I am locked into the World Series games 3, 4, and 5 when they go. So I will be heading to Chicago when that happens. And I will not be going to any playoff games, because that is like saying they're not going all the way. So there's that. All right. If you guys have any questions, we got 8 minutes. I'll open this up. Please, if I open this up, I know you're thankful. I know you're grateful. And that's awesome. And I know that. You don't need to say it. If you have a question or something to add value to everybody else on this call, you guys filled me up more than you know, so I don't need to hear that. But I would love it if you have something to say that will serve everybody, to say that, and we will end exactly at 5:30. So I'm going to figure out how to unmute you guys again. I'm so technically, okay. I'm going to unmute you also. If you have noise, mute yourself, okay?
Let's go, Cubbies.
It was running.
Hi, Max.
Heartline.
Hi, Max.
Oh, Heartline. Guys.
Well, that's going to happen. She's going to. I've got something to share.
Okay, I'm going to mute everybody, and then you
Stop. She's going to legit have a heart attack. She's going to be like, all right. So anyway, she's fine, and then she's going to have a fucking
all right, whoever said they had something, unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm unmuted. It's Christine John. I had a pretty powerful weekend, and I'm a crafter at heart. I went to Pinner's Conference as a bonus to myself in another business that I do. But I found it really interesting that on a Friday afternoon, it was kind of quiet. The floor was kind of quiet. And I started looking around, and I saw a whole bunch of vendors there, a whole bunch of entrepreneurs, committed. That is not a cheap venue to come to. I've been a vendor before. I know. So I looked around and I thought, there's something I need to do here. And it didn't have anything to do with the crafting that was going on. So I started at the back because I knew that's where people hadn't been so much. And I started talking to people one at a time and just connecting with them. The very first person I talked to was a competitor of ours. And guess what? I made a connection. And there's someone that puts on small vendor fairs and shows. And I asked if competitors would be allowed. And they said if they had more than a few people, they absolutely would consider that. The second person I talked to was like, follow up with me. I want to talk to you. I'm ready to join. And I continued on down the way. There was even an Isogenics booth there. I made friends with the people there. I talked to the person next to them. I didn't take them an e-shot the next day when I took everybody else e-shots, but I made some solid connections. And you know what? It wasn't hard. It was hard finding the e-shots because they weren't in my cupboard. So I ordered 4 boxes in there on my counter today. But you know what? I did it. It wasn't hard, you guys. Don't make this weird. Don't make it hard. You can do this wherever you are.
Love it. And how did that make you feel inside? Like,
oh my gosh, I was so happy leaving Friday night. And I was so excited to go back tomorrow and bless them, because I knew come Saturday afternoon, their butts would all be dragging on the ground. I've done it. You know, they were exhausted. Some people were like, no, thanks. I don't want an e-shot. Some people are like, what does it taste like? And some people were like, oh my gosh, seriously, you brought me something? And they were so excited. So I have some follow-up to do for sure, but I was so, I just knew I had done what I needed to do. I had blessed their lives, and they blessed mine.
And that's what it's about, you know, the human connection. The connection, whether or not they ever join Isagenix or not, like, you felt filled up because you were connecting with people. I know when I get out of my comfort zone and actually like make eye contact and say hello to people, like, I get all giddy inside. I'm like, why is it so freaking hard, Tracy? Like, seriously, you're crazy. And so I'm super proud of you. I loved seeing you post about that in our business group and everything. So I appreciate you sharing that. All right, we have time for one more share if somebody wants to unmute themselves and share.
Hey, Tracy, it's Margaret.
Hi, Margaret.
Similar thing. We had a birthday party for the leader of our aerobics class, and I was trying to decide what to take with me. So I cut up 6 of my dairy-free bars and made up a huge picture of lemon lime hydrate. And I didn't mention anything about Isagenix. I just poured hydrate. And I had 4 people come up wanting to know, where did they get that lemonade mix, and how could they get it? And I'm like, you know what? That was so easy. But I made the kids really happy, and everybody is having a great time. And it was just nothing.
Right? And
But the secret's in following up.
How did it feel to make people feel good? Or, I mean, it's why a lot of us, like those of us that like to cook for people, like, there's nothing better than somebody enjoying something that you made, or, you know, it's just, it's awesome. So I love that, Margaret. I love that. You're so cute. All right.
Have a good day.
We'll
Hey, go
one more.
Cubs.
Yeah, go Cubbies. One more if somebody wants to unmute. All right, if you got nothing.
Tracy, I'll go.
Oh, okay.
This is Shannon.
Lindsay, you're going after Shannon. Shannon, go for it.
Oh, yeah, Lindsay needs to finish. So I am not one that is good with going deep at all. It scares the crap out of me, and I know that it's something that I need to do, but how? And I know that I need to make a shift in what my mindset is, like, going from where I'm focused on the, not necessarily the money side, but what that can do for my family, and putting more of the focus on the loving and the serving and the caring, and putting that deep. Like, how do you make that transition? Like, what's one thing that helped you to start making that transition?
It's a beautiful question, and you're going to serve so many people right now. Yes, Brene Brown is a great thing, and we can read all these books and whatever. I mean, it's amazing. And I know you've done personal development, and that's all fine and good. However, the one question I have for you is, what is it you're really afraid of? When you say you're terrified of being vulnerable, why? What is it the trigger that has locked you inside yourself for however long it's been? Because I know, and I'll answer your question, but I just have that question for you first before I answer with how I did it.
I don't even know.
And you need to find that answer. That is the key to unlock yourself from this hell you're putting yourself in. It is the key to unlock yourself from the self-sabotage, from the isolation that you do. I can't give you that answer. You need to find it, and you need to go to any lengths to find that and not be afraid of it. And when you're about to come upon it is when you're going to want to yank it back and go back. And that's when you're going to find the answer. And that is how I did this. I got tired of when I was just close enough. Fear would take over, and I'd go back down the path of the dead end until I kept crashing into the same freaking wall over and over and over and over. And it wasn't until I made the decision that I was going to be afraid, but I was going to do it anyway. I knew what I was afraid of. I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid of abandonment. I was afraid of not being good enough. I was afraid of eyes on me in a way that isn't appropriate. I was afraid of all sorts of things. And I chose to push past that fear, because my faith, If I have fear and worry, that isn't allowing God to do the work through me. And that's just my belief. Again, I don't know what your beliefs are. However, this can apply to you. I mean, if you really believe that you are here for something greater than yourself, then what the heck is there to be afraid of? I've been rejected. I've been abandoned. I've been verbally assaulted. I have been looked at inappropriately, even through this. And I do it anyway. Because what's coming is way bigger and better than any of that stuff that is just Satan trying to hold me back from spreading love and light onto the world. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to find what you're afraid of. I knew what I was afraid of. I listed about 5 of them. There's crap ton more. And every time those things would come up, I'd be like, okay, you know, feelings last 2 seconds to 2 minutes. Feelings last 2 seconds to 2 minutes. And instead of running back the other way, which was my old way of doing things, I would pause and sit in that feeling for 2 seconds to 2 minutes. And usually by the end of 2 minutes, that fear had subsided a little bit and I could move forward. But I had to identify what I was really afraid of at the core, not just like the pretty words, but like the real ugly stuff that maybe nobody knows about you. And I'm not saying you have to share them with anybody, but you have to know them so you know when they're hitting you that you need to push through that wall. Yes, read the good books. I mean, Energy Bus, Brene Brown, all that stuff's good. But if you're not applying that into your everyday life, it's great reading, but you're not going to do anything with it. I see it. That's why personal development is great. But if you're not willing to apply what you've learned and use those tools to move forward, it's pointless. And that's why I know God has put me here to design a program for transitioning out of personal development into real life. I know that. I know that with all my heart. That's what I'm destined for. I don't know what that looks like yet, and it scares me. But that is what the missing link is. You can personally develop all day long and go to even Tony freaking Robbins, who's amazing. But if you're not willing to really dig deep and move forward, it doesn't matter. You just dropped $6,000. I dropped thousands and thousands of dollars on personal development and counselors, 10 different counselors that I BS'd my way through. Thousands of dollars. And it wasn't until I walked into an AA meeting and was willing to get honest, and that's free, that the real breakthrough happened, is because I was willing to face my fears and move forward anyway. Does that help you?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I love you, girl.
Love you.
All right, Lindsay Brzezinski, you're closing us out, even though we're 3 minutes over. I want to hear what you have to say because I love you.
My heart is pounding out of my chest. I just kind of really want to validate. I'm practicing speaking in the first person, as Colin James taught us in Vancouver, instead of the second or third, because I feel like sometimes I do that to deflect. So I'm speaking in the first person. I'm just so thankful for this growth, and that you spoke about the stars and the circles, and that's not a measure of where we are and how far we've come. Because I hit the ground running with my health, but I got stopped up on my heels about 7 months in, because I was going for a run and I immediately had all of these things stirring up, all of these things that people had said or that I had told myself, or, I wasn't there for this sporting event, and where was I? And why couldn't I do this? And, like, it's just junk. But it's been a process every single day for 2 years and 9 months. But where would I be without it? Where would any of us be without it? Sharing the gift of health and helping people get on the right tracks and having the opportunity. That's beautiful. But what is more beautiful is helping people step into the absolute best versions of themselves and to be able to fly with whatever their gifts are. And I know I was of no service stuck where I was, and I still have things every day. I get walking along the way, I'm cocky, and I'm like, this week alone, I realized I hadn't stopped by my husband's work in 5 years. I had to Google where he works. And I thought, what? And I walked in and they had rearranged the office, and he had all of these pictures that I hadn't seen on the walls, because I didn't want to go in, because I didn't want anybody to see his wife the way that she was, because he's such a rock star. I still have garbage. But what did I do? I drove my car. I told the kids, we got on the right freeway. We got on, and we drove there. And I busted open the doors, and you just face it one thing at a time. And as we're growing and as we're going about this business, we are going to have these things popping up constantly. But if we're doing the work, we can get rid of some of this junk so that we can better serve everybody around us, so that we can better be a vessel to share this gift. Because all of the junk that's stuck in our heads is absolutely holding us back from our truest potential in who we are and who I am. There we go. It's holding me back. Every ounce of junk that's in there. But you know what? That is the roots. That is not my story. That is my history. And every single day, I have the pen. And I can write how this thing goes. And I'm just beyond thankful for these calls. I'm thankful for all of the nuggets that we receive from you, Tracy, and from each other, because more importantly, we learn from each other. And I learn so much when each one of you speaks. And I'm just thankful as heck right now. I think gratitude is just through the roof. I don't know what I just said. Sorry.
I know. I'm so proud of you, and I love you. And you have no idea how many people, not just on this call, but that are going to watch this, that this is going to help. And thank you. I'm so grateful you are in my life. I was just talking to Casey yesterday about the day that you changed my life, walking into it. And I told her the story and what's happened, not just for you, but anybody that you've come in contact with, and especially Brent and the kids too. It's beautiful. So thank you for being in my life. As far as these calls go, I know a lot of people jumped on live, and like all the other calls, this will be available for 48 hours only. Once 48 hours is up, it will be gone. And yeah, I know. I have a little surprise for you a little bit down the road, but just know if you want people to view this, they're going to have to follow me on YouTube. I cannot post the link to the YouTube in any of the business pages. For compliance reasons, which is totally okay. I respect that. So if you are not following me on YouTube, you're going to have to, or find the link on YouTube. I can't post it. I can post it in my own personal groups, but obviously in any of the company-wide Facebook groups, I'm respecting their decision on that and will not post it in there. My YouTube channel is called Strive for Change. Strive, the number 4 change, and this will be up until Wednesday night. You can watch it till Wednesday night. So get this in front of the people that you believe need to be blessed by it. I hope I don't even remember anything that I said tonight, to be honest with you. But I'm sure it was not just me talking. So I'm really grateful for you guys. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for cheering for my Cubs. Thank you for sharing your heart. And we will see you next Monday. Unless there's a playoff game, the time might be shifted. I don't know yet. We'll see. So peace out, you guys. I love you all. See you soon. Bye.
Bye. I love you.